Okay, welcome back, person watching this video. We are again back with another one, and hopefully by the title of the video y'all see that I am talking about idealism and the issues with idealism. Yeah, again, something just to bring light to. And for those of y'all who don't know what idealism is, it is the act of idealizing something. Obviously, I'm using the same word to describe this concept, but I am talking about the idealization of people, of places, of situations and circumstances, of things in general. But what does it mean to idealize? Well, to idealize means to attribute ideal characteristics. It is to give an ideal form or value to something or someone's, again, a situation or a circumstance, something like that. And then if we go into the root word of, what it, idealize and idealism, which is ideal, that is defined as existing as a mental image or an imagination only. And it is or can be a standard of perfection. And just by the definition, hopefully y'all have put two and two together to understand that idealism and idealizing things really begins with how we think. And really, by thinking, I mean falling into an imagination of something or of someone, or again, just all these different things. How many times, and I have to ask this seriously, how many times have y'all heard stories about people meeting their favorite celebs just to find out they aren't exactly who they thought they were or how they imagined them to be? The same thing, I think, also occurs when you're finding somebody on, I don't know, some sort of dating app like Tinder or maybe even Bumble, right? It's called Bumble. I don't know. I don't really be on those things. But when you're meeting somebody on these like dating apps, you have an idea of who they are and what they're like based on what you might see on their profile. And it doesn't just have to be limited to dating apps. I feel like it's really applicable to all sorts of social media apps where you have a certain idea of somebody. If you don't know them in real life, okay, you have an idea of somebody based on what you see on their social media profile or what images they put out there and things like that. You have a certain idea of what this person is, but that idea is so much further from the actual truth of who they are as a person and what they're really like. And I think that that's the falling into the imagination of of a person. And again, it can be applicable to circumstances, it can be applicable to actual objects, it doesn't have to just be people, it can be applicable to places, all of that. So you're essentially falling for the imagination of that person. And I feel like I'm zoning in on interactions with people and ideas of people because that's just how I feel is most important and is a part of this whole experience. But as I was saying, your imagination of things, of people, of who you are perceiving through this, this screen, through the social media profile and all that, you can totally create a different person than who that person is in real life. And that separates your thoughts from, a basis in reality, because again, you're falling for this perception or this idea of how you believe someone to be, and all that. I mean, like, even for example, I'm just wondering, like, when people see pictures of you and they actually finally hear your voice, do they actually, believe that that's, your actual voice? Like, for some reason, and some examples that, I've experienced, I see a person in a picture and they go and talk, and I can't believe that's actually how they talk. Like, yeah, that's definitely an example of that. I can even think of a time where, you see all these pictures of a celebrity, and for example, I'm just gonna say, like, I've seen so many pictures of Brent Faiyaz, right? Seen so many pictures of Brent Faiyaz, and obviously seen him in music videos, listened to him singing and all that. But to me, it's like, how does this voice, relate to this person? Like, to me, I can't believe it. Like, that's really him singing. He doesn't look like what I would imagine the voice to be matched with, I guess, if he didn't have any pictures. But I'm not trying to knock anybody for having an imagination, okay? But there has to be, again, some sort of understanding and awareness of how the imagination can really play some tricks. It definitely is a gift to have an imagination, but I don't think people understand, again, how this sort of imagination works in this way when their brains are idealizing something or someone. I think that the amount of idealism that goes on for some people, again, when thinking about people and having a certain perspective of them based off of what you see on the screen and what you see in, from pictures and maybe tweets or whatever, we can create a dynamic where we think of someone some way, and when proof shows us otherwise, that they aren't who we have idealized them to be, we can still uphold a certain image of them, and it causes us to stay around them, although it may not be the best for both of y'all. And I feel like one of the craziest things in this experience we call life is the whole fact that you will never know what somebody is thinking about you, because you cannot read people's thoughts. Because I even think about people who are out there who essentially idolize celebrities and things like that. They get so, I guess, bought into the idea of this person, and it turns very unhealthy to the point where the person ends up, like, let's say, stalking them, or it can even go even more toxic than that, where an individual is, let's say, like, sending harassing gifts or letters or emails and things like that, because they believe in their minds, again with their imagination, that that this person actually loves them or is actually talking to them. And this is where this whole idealism can kind of get scary, because what is going on in your head? Like, what makes you believe that is actually reality? And I just pray that those people get help, because it's not healthy. That sort of imagination is out of control. Like, I don't even know how to describe it for real. But when we begin to idealize people and things and places and all that through just words we hear, and it's not coming from our own experience, then it's creating a sort of box around how the experience is expected to go, if that makes sense. I mean, it puts a box around the experience, because what you hear from another person might totally be different than what you might actually experience yourself. And isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So let me give y'all some examples. I think I already gave some examples, but I'm like looking at my notes and I wrote down some more examples. But for example, we can believe a person is who they say they are just because they say they are. Yeah. So yeah, that can definitely happen. How many times do you ask somebody to describe themselves and they go ahead and describe them, and then you're just like, okay, you accept that. So we take what they say as a description of themselves, and we attribute it to the mental image we have of them. So it further adds on to the imagination of what we see this other person to be. Okay? And sometimes what the people say of themselves actually matches who they are with their behaviors and actions. Okay? That is the proof. Okay? That's the proof that shows, okay, maybe you are really like this. I just had a thought that I have to go and get off in just a second. And there are some times where folks say they are one way, but their actions and behaviors don't actually show that sort of that characteristic. Okay? I feel like over time you start to see people break character. And this is because, again, like they aren't being true to themselves, they're not being authentic, but they break character, and then you actually see them for the reality of who they are. And if you get too caught up in the ideal of someone and they break character, as I was mentioning before, like, you will start to make justifications, right? You will start to make justifications for that person. And, again, we all make mistakes. We aren't perfect people. We can play a character, and sometimes, yes, we do break character. But it's just like, my whole point in saying this is we will go and justify who they really are for the ideal of them, and we will make excuses and not accept reality of this person because we still want to uphold this ideal, this imagination of who they might actually really be. And I will also just add, usually when people lie about themselves, they are saying these lies to uphold their own personal idealization of themselves, their ego, the projection of who they believe themselves to be. And it's not true to who they really are in reality, right? And if we continue to justify and to validate the lies that they're telling us of who they are, we feed into that delusion they have of themselves, and we become a part of the delusion. We become a piece that upholds that sort of mask that they have going on. And if they saw the real them, their entire perception of self, of who they are, would be entirely shattered. And they would have to question their entire being. But this is, besides the point, back to the whole, examples of idealization, idealism. Here's another example. We can idealize people, things, places, situations, circumstances, and so on, right? Through simple images on our phones, we can create an idea of what something is, or an idea of what reality is. And it's, it can be far from what reality actually is existing as. And it's not just, images on our phone, but like on our computers, through the news, through social media. What I would love people to understand is that a photograph and a video, yes, captures something that is real, okay? Captures a slice of reality, okay? But what makes it not reality and what makes it idealized is the fact that the video, the image, can be framed, cut, edited, and so on, which creates it as an idealized form. It's not even what it actually is in reality. Hopefully, again, I really just pray that the stuff that I get off actually makes sense to y'all, because it be making sense to me. Maybe I'm just rambling, but I want y'all to start really thinking, like, come on, we have to start really analyzing what the heck is going on. Like, that's really, I think, where I be coming from, is like, what the heck is really going on. I'm really just trying to understand what is going on. The mind is amazing. But anyway, so we idealize reality by listening to how others describe it or how others portray it in images, rather than experiencing it ourselves. And this puts you at a place further and further away from reality. And what's so funny is, the more and more I think that we continue to make technology and the internet more a part of our lives, the more I think we will have less of a foundation in reality, if that makes sense. And even this reality of what we want to call it is not entirely real itself. And I'm not going to get into that. That's like a whole different discussion. And if y'all are interested in talking about that, you can come to me one-on-one, but like, I'm not going to talk about that on here. But the further and further you get into like this internet thing, this social media thing, and all that, the further you are from what you can call reality. And it's just so interesting to see that people out there really just think that this social media stuff is real. Like, I hate to break it to y'all. Idealism is detachment from reality through excessive imagination to the furthest extreme, and I mean, like, idealism in the form of even delusion, as I had mentioned before. But it is not reality. Idealism is not reality. Idealism affects your perception of reality. And you could be looking through rose-colored lenses and see things much better than what they are in reality. And if you begin to believe the ideal for reality, then again, you're creating an entrenched delusion. You can only confirm something or someone to be reality by the ultimate experience of them. Okay? there's a saying, I think that gets said a lot. If you believe it, it becomes reality. Okay, that's a very common saying. And this saying is true in that the belief, also known as the idealism, becomes the reality of a delusion. Again, idealism is not rooted in reality. It is of your imagination until you experience it for real. I think to escape idealism, you have to remove yourself from expectations, preconceived judgments, and preconceived thoughts and attitudes towards an experience. You accept things for how they are and how they are presented, and what I would probably argue is something that gets you closer to the truest reality that exists. Idealism can definitely ruin the experience because it has built itself on expectations and, like I said, preconceived judgments, preconceived thoughts and attitudes. Okay, this is how you ruin the experience, by having a certain, a certain outlook, or a certain belief of something. It can definitely let you down if it's not, up to your expectations, and how you thought things were supposed to pan out. Life will definitely show you that your ideals is not reality. Just straight up, your ideals are not reality. Your ideals are not reality. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts. But anyway, they're just thoughts of things. I'm not here to say that idealism is entirely something that should be shunned and that you shouldn't have, because it is and can be something of value. It can be used in creative endeavors. It is the idea itself. Idealism is the idea itself. And a lot of things that exist in our world could not have happened without an idea, a sort of, imagination of what could be and the possibility of what can happen. Okay, and then, of course, us as people can create, move that thought into creation of something. Again, just side note, if that's not proof that there is a greater creator out there who has, created us, I don't know what is. But anyway, idealism is the idea itself, and this is what makes it not bad. But if there's just too much idealism, if there's too much imagination, it can become something that is far removed from reality. Okay? So far removed from reality. Ooh, again, I'm just saying, some of these people be needing help. I don't know how to help them, but they have to realize it. But I was going to go ahead and show y'all some clips of this catfish thing, but I think I might make a separate video of that, and it's going to be my reaction to it, essentially. But it's basically a video of this lady who's so caught up in her in somebody who doesn't even exist. Okay, so it was like a catfish situation. This person doesn't even freaking exist, and yet she was so entrenched in her imagination that this person does exist that any proof otherwise, she would not believe it. And I just, that's a great example of all this and how idealism is an issue and can become an issue. But again, like I said, I think I'm going to do entire separate video reacting to that. It will be probably a part 2 to this, essentially. But yeah, we'll go over that. But if you got to this point in the video, I really appreciate you watching. Again, we're just trying to do something different, trying to put out some different content, some different ways of doing things out here for this year and seeing how it flows. But yeah, you know, I really appreciate whoever has stuck to the end. If you really mess with what I was talking about in this video, I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But yeah, this will be the end of this video, and I hope y'all have a great day and y'all be safe. Let me go ahead and just put up my end screen as per usual, and I will see y'all in the next one. All right, guys, take care.